Hello students, now let us discuss about status and role. Social status refers to the position occupied by any individual in the family or in the society at large. Each and every person has multiple statuses, and this status is going to determine the rights, duties and obligations including behavior and the nature and extent of the relationship with persons of different statuses. For example, I am the teacher. My designation is assistant professor, and when I am going to come to the class, my duty is to deliver the lectures to the students, address their issues and so on. And when I am going to behave with the students who are having lower status than me, it is entirely different. And if I go to my superior, to the associate professor or to the dean, student affairs and so on, my relationship with them is entirely different. So this status is going to determine what is my right, what are my duties and how I need to behave with the other human beings who have different statuses in the society. According to Linton, status is the place in a particular system which an individual occupies at a particular time. When I go to home, at that particular time in my family, I may have multiple status. To my mom and dad, I am the son. To my lady, I am the husband. To my daughter, I am the father. So I am going to have multiple statuses, but at a particular time in a particular system or place, my dear friends. If I am going to take family as a system, in that I have three roles to be performed or three statuses. Let us discuss the characteristics of status. These status are nothing but the external symbols which is going to help us to identify one's status in a society. For example, President is the first citizen of this country. So we are going to identify them. Status is going to help us to identify the status of the individuals. And each and every status, already we have discussed that it has its own rights, duties as well as obligations. And each and every social status is governed by certain norms and values. For example, think a person who belongs to a particular political party has become the president of the country. Tomorrow, if any political leader who belongs to the other political party comes to him, he cannot say that I belongs to XYZ political party and because you are the opponent, I will not talk to you. As the first citizen of the country, he is supposed to listen to each and every individual. He is not going to show any discrimination in terms of political parties, in terms of states, in terms of regionality, in terms of whatnot, my dear friends. So all the social statuses are governed by certain norms and values. Each individual may have multiple statuses, and each and every status exercise an influence on the career of the individuals. For example, as an individual, I may have different ambitions, different aspirations, different habits and so on. But as a teacher, when I come into the society, this teacher status is going to dominate my behavior. In the society, I cannot talk anything nonsense. I have to think and talk carefully, which only contributes to the solidarity of the society, which is good for the society. So in each and every society, only certain statuses exist, because in each and every society, the systems are not the same and the statuses are not the same. It may vary from one society to the other society. Now let us discuss the types of status. Status can be classified into two types. One is ascribed status and the other one is achieved status. Anything which has been assigned to an individual or ascribed to an individual by birth itself, we call it as ascribed status. By birth itself, looking at the biological features, the society has said that I am a boy. They have named me as a boy. So sex is ascribed status. Then the age. the kinship, who are my relatives. I have not decided in which family I have to be born, who are my relatives like. So, by birth itself, to which family I belong to, who are my relatives, all these things have been defined. To which religion I belong to which caste I belong to, what is my regionality or nationality, all these things I got it by birth itself. So, all these we call it as ascribed status. And anything an individual has achieved based on his efforts, that we call it as achieved status. All of you who are listening to this lecture must have completed the 10th class and 10 plus 2. You have achieved your 10th and 10 plus 2 based on your efforts. Some of you who have joined this degree must also be working in some or the public or the private sector too. You have achieved that job, my dear friends, based on that effort. So, any position, any status which an individual has acquired based on their efforts, we call it as achieved status. So, status has been defined as or classified as two types. One is achieved and the other one is ascribed status. Now, let us discuss about the role. For each and every status, there is a role which is assigned, my dear friends. For each and every status, there is a role which is assigned. A role is the dynamic or behavior aspect of the status. It is nothing but it is the manner in which a given individual fulfills the obligations of the status and enjoy its privileges. For example, coming to the classroom, my status is a teacher and my role is to deliver the lectures. Going to the family, I am the son, I am the husband, I am the father. So, my duty is to satisfy all the requirements of my parents, of my spouse and my children at home, my dear friends. So, each and every status is going to have a role assigned. Some roles are shared by many people like adults, children and so on, whereas some roles are performed only by few people who are there in the society. For example, for the state we have only one chief minister and we have the number of ministers who are going to assist or support the chief minister, or else we have the prime minister supported with the list with the number of ministers at the central government. So, there are certain positions which are played only by few people, and even if we see the Usmania University, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, we have the vice chancellors, then followed by registered and so on. So, some roles are occupied only by few individuals. Some roles can be assumed voluntarily, whereas some are involuntarily done. For example, if I want to join defense in India, it is purely voluntary. If I want, I will join through a process of examination and selection process, whereas some roles are involuntary. That means, as a father, it is my duty, as a son, it is my duty towards my parents. So, it happens involuntarily. So, an individual is going to play multiple roles in the society. So, when he is going to perform multiple roles, sometimes there may be conflicting demands. For example, when I think there is a conflict between my mom and my wife at the time, whether I have to perform the role of the son or of the husband. So, we are going to have the conflicting situation, we call it as role conflict. In the society, we are going to have social functions. Function is nothing but it is referred to interconnection between the social structure and the process of life. There are three concepts, my dear friends. One is the process, the structure and the function, which are logically connected with each other in terms of social functions. Then we require a social system in terms of social structure. It is going to describe about the arrangement of social interactions based on shared norms and values. Talcott Person has given the concept of system. He refers to the system as an orderly arrangement and interrelationship of parts which are there in that particular system, my dear friends. Let us discuss the elements of social system. In each and every social system, we have the faith and knowledge, we have sentiments, we have goals, we have ideals and norms, we have status and role to be performed, and we are going to have a power structure who is going to look after the entire system structure, like who is going to punish them or reward them, what kind of sanctions are there. All this becomes the elements of this social system. Then we also have a social organization. It is nothing but a pattern of relationship which exists between individuals and social groups. And these organizations may have different size, may be of different size, it may be of different composition of people, and there is a communication system, a structure and a leadership, my dear friends. So, till now we have studied about status, role, social function, social system and social organization. Thank you.